Hello. In this video, we are going to be doing the staircase railing for the St. Andrew Beach House in Revit. And at the end, I'll point out some details you could do as well. To start, we're going to turn on a section box, and we're going to pull this in the 3D view to only show the staircase. This is going to allow us to work on the staircase in a much more efficient manner. So we'll get it passed on that side, and then we're going to drag the other side's arrows and reveal it as well. Now we can work on our staircase much easier, and later we'll move the rest of the section box inwards too. But for now, we're going to go to level 1. And now we're going to start setting up our railings posts. So we're going to go to the Architecture tab, and we're going to start a model in place. We'll call this a railing, because it's part of it. We'll start an extrusion, and we're going to use a circle. Orientation-wise, I can tell from a 3D view that we have north in this direction, and that there is an extra little step right here. So knowing which one that is, this is the first step. And we're going to find the corner and start this circle. We're going to make it about this thick. And right now, our post is kind of floating over the side of the step, so we're going to move it onto the step entirely by making some reference lines by taking these edges. And now we can select the middle of our circle from the corner and move it to this new cross point. Let's delete these lines, and now our circle is perfectly on top of this step. I'm just going to move it just a little bit. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. I'm going to finish the object and go back to 3D to check it. And for now, I'm going to raise the height to sit on top of the step. Might change later. But we know that our posts are 1 meter tall, so I'm going to take this measurement right here, plus 1. And I've copy pasted that number. That will give us our 1 meter tall posts. And I'm having a graphical issue because my computer's a little slow right now, but it's still there. Now let's do the second one. I'm just going to copy this one as a 3D object, not the actual drawing. I'm just going to get it in the general area because we have to do this little trick again. I'm going to edit the extrusion, and we can see that our stair piece ends right here. And then I'm going to move the center point of the circle to right there. Then I'm going to do this edge trick again. Okay, we'll delete the inside, and we're going to move it just a little bit, and we'll hit the check mark, and there it is. Now, this is a little bit more tricky with the height. This needs to be one of these stairs' height taller, so I'm taking this 0.1925 into a calculator, and I'm multiplying it by 2, and the answer will be our decimal for the end of the top height. That looks good. And now we need to do the middle one, so we're going to take this and copy it to the middle. I'm going to modify the shape so I can move the drawing itself. And let's find the midpoint of this edge of this step. I'm going to move this away real quick. And it's right here, so I'm going to mark it by using a line. And then I'll move the center point to where these intersect. Then I can use this point where it intersects yet again, and I can move the circle based off that. And now it's fully on top of the step. And the height for this is even trickier. We need the height of halfway in between these two. So I need to take half of this height and add it to the base. So I'm going to take 0.1925 in a calculator and divide it by 2. And then I'm going to add that back onto 0.1925. And that will give us this number right here, which will make this top the midpoint between both of these. Now, just like the last video with the steps, we need to select all of these posts and rotate and move them up while copying them all at the same time. And we can use the section as a side view so we can move these up, and we just keep rotating and copying until we reach the top. Before I copy and paste my way up, I'm actually going to change the base of this first post because it should be 0, and I'll delete the last post because the first post is going to rotate and take its place. I'm speeding this up because it's quite a lengthy process, but just like the last video, I'm essentially rotate copying each step, and then I'm moving it up with a section view. This is what it looks like once it's done. Some of them are missing as I rotate. That's because of a graphical glitch with my computer yet again. But now we can move on to doing the handrail. So to get started for our handrail, the first thing I want to do is select our section box and pull it in a little closer so we can fully see all the way around our staircase. Awesome. Now we're going to go to level 1, and we're going to go to the architecture tab, and we're going to place a component, and we're going to create a mass, which when you're using a mass, the controls work a little bit differently, as you can see. We're going to start with a circle. I'm going to start the circle from the middle of the project, and I'm going to pull this out to the middle of our posts, not the edge of the stairs. This is because this is where the rail is going to be based on. Now that we've placed the circle, we can select it, and let's go to 3D. And we can go up here to create form. We're going to hit the drop down menu and click solid form. As you can see, it creates a big cylinder. We're going to select the top and pull the arrow up, and we're going to drag it up to the top of our middle post because that's where the railing should end. We're going to use this as a surface to place points on. We're not actually going to use this as an object. We're going to finish our mass by hitting the check mark, and I'm going to hide all these pieces so we can clearly see what we're working on. Once you've hidden everything that you want to hide, we're going to select the mass again and hit edit in place. The shadows are off, it just looks a little bit strange, but we're going to use a point element, which is a draw style technically, and I'm going to place them along this surface on the top center of each of our posts. It should prompt you with a pink box selection on the top middle of these posts, which makes it very convenient and easy to place these points. And just make your way up, slowly placing all these points. And this is why we hid everything around it, so it allows us to easily place these. Once you've done that, we can start a spline. So we're going to go to the bottom and select spline through points. And we are going to now easily select the points that we just made. Then we're going to make our way up the cylinder. The points make this much easier, otherwise it's a little bit of a pain. Once I've placed the last spline point that I want, I'm going to hit enter to finish it. And now we have a spline going all the way up our mass. There are certainly ways to perfectly smooth this out, but once we add mass to the railing edge, it really won't be that noticeable. So now what we're going to do is go back to the bottom of our railing, and we are going to give it its thickness. So I'm going to change the visual style to hidden line really quickly. From here, I'm going to finish our model, and I'm going to pull the section box out a little bit because we need just a little bit of extra room for this next step. Now we're going to edit our model once again, and we're going to hit point element, and we're going to place one point along the line down here. Then we can select this point, and we can see this little work plane here, and we're going to select a circle, click the point, and draw the circle at the thickness you'd like it to be. This will snap to the work plane that the point has. And the work plane is oriented by the spline that it's sitting on. Then with both the point and the circle selected, we're going to hit copy. And we're going to copy both of them out here into the void, kind of just floating, and we're just going to copy a whole bunch of them. I would start with making a bunch of these. It's better to have more than less. Then you are going to select one of these. I actually don't need to select both, we just need to select the point because it's hosting the circle already. And we're going to pick new host. This allows us to place the point and circle along the spline, and it will orient itself with the line. And we're just going to do a bunch of these all the way up the spline. If you need more of these dots and circles, you could of course keep copying more out. And for the last and first points along the spline, you could place them right here, but don't place them on the ends because it won't snap the rotation. And if you wanted the railing to continue past this, you would probably need to extend the spline. I would make the cylinder mass a little bit taller and continue the spline. And I need one more to put on the bottom, so I'm going to copy this one on the top. I'll select the point and I'll rehost it to the bottom. With that in place, we can now select our bottom circle, select the spline itself, and then you can select the last circle on the top, and we can hit Create Form with the drop-down menu, and we'll choose Solid, and there is our railing. My railing is just a little bit wonky, and I realized afterwards that that was because I didn't rotate my posts perfectly, so they're a little bit weird. And if you wanted to, you could also add more points in between each post along the railing if yours looks anything like this for some reason. Then we can delete our center mass and we are left with the railing. Then I'll go ahead and save the project and I'll set it to realistic and we can see what it looks like. So that was my approach to doing a spiral staircase railing in Revit, and I think it gets the job done for general purpose visualization. As for additional details, you can make just about anything you want with Model in Place. You can see here that I did the extra little ceiling beams and I also did the pantry closet. And these were done by just eyeballing reference images. As for the screen and overhang, you could easily do those with Model in Place from a top-down view. And I also did these structural inserts to the columns. And there's also this little concrete footing where I cut away a small part of the foundation. As for doors and window frames, it's also just more Model in Place. For the glass, I just took a material from a Revit template. On this channel, there are also some visualization walkthroughs on Blender and Photoshop. So if you're looking to expand your skill set or try something new, check one of those out. Thanks for watching.